Hi, we're live.
Hello, we are live. Welcome. Nobody's nose is bleeding. Everything's okay. It will be fine.
Unless you
Good
didn't hear
afternoon,
that.
Hannah Reinhold. How are you?
I'm grand, thank you, Rachel Weinhold. How are you?
All right. You're a liar because you've got sinusitis.
Never give in. And actually, I feel like my nose is bigger. I feel
Well,
like
it doesn't
my nose is bigger.
look bigger. I think you're making that up as you go along.
Thanks,
I
because
think
I
you'll be
got
all
a
right.
cute little nose.
All right. Okay. Well, I wouldn't go that far in the other direction. But
It's
it's not
a
a
great
whopper.
nose. It's a great nose.
Anyway, welcome to another FFS. It's Friday again. It's Friday again. We are here today to talk about how do you pitch your business. So the reason that we're going to talk about this today is that we were doing the Grow Traffic Roadshow yesterday, and this was one of the things we were working through a little workbook of what you're going to do to grow your business. And this was one of the things that kept coming up is that how do you pitch your business? People were unsure about how to do it. One woman, she did a thing, but from the way she'd explained to us what she did, none of us had got that in the room when she started. None of us had understood what she did. So it's really important that you pitch your business correctly, because that's all most people that you ever meet have got to go off. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first, Hannah, what's your name and where'd you come from?
Well, my name's Hannah and I'm from Grow Traffic.
Woo! And what interesting, good, or exciting thing has happened to you this week?
I'm never prepared for this question, which is daft.
Well, it's daft because you're the one that made us do it. You introduced it.
I'm very excited to get some ankle support socks delivered tomorrow. So I can, because I've been struggling with a torn ligament in my ankle. So I've not been at netball for about 11 weeks now. So I'm very excited to get these socks because I think I'll be able to go and play again.
All right, good.
What
Are they
about you,
magic
Ram?
socks?
Magic socks to go with my magic shin protectors and my magic trainers.
Okay, well, I genuinely hope they work because I know you enjoy playing netball, don't you? So
Thank you. That's
fingers
the
crossed they work.
nicest thing you've ever said to me.
It won't last long, don't worry. Yeah, so my name's Rachel, also from Grow Traffic, from Bake Up, where the sun is shining, but it's not warm. In fact, it's so not warm. I've got a cardigan on and I've got a blanket on my knee, and it looks like it should be spring. And I've just had a very busy week, really. I did the Grow Traffic Roadshow yesterday. Tomorrow I'm doing another workshop for women in business, or women that want to start a business and don't know where to start. And we're doing it in Haslingden for the ladies of the mosque. So I'm going to do a free session for them to teach them how to earn, whether it's a side hustle or a main job or whatever, but get a job, get a bit more independent, start earning money for themselves. So I'm really looking forward to that. It should be a really good session.
The ladies of the mosque sounds
Ladies of the mosque.
Sounds like an ancient, like mystic group that they're gonna like protect some key.
Yeah, they might. You don't know. I'll ask them tomorrow. Where do you keep your keys? Anyway, yes. So there we go. Busy weeks all round. So as I said, today we're talking about how do you pitch your business. One of the things that we see as when we're Grow Traffic working with our clients time and time again is that what businesses tend to do is talk about themselves. And it's obvious, isn't it? That's what you think you should do. People think of their website, for example, as their company brochure. So they want to talk about how great they are and what services they provide and the awards that they've won and the accreditations that they've got and all this sort of stuff. And whilst that should be on your website, all that stuff needs to be there. If we think about the buyer journey and where a customer starts from in needing your services and where they end up, that bit about you and how great you are and the accreditations you've got, that's just a tiny, tiny bit that comes right at the end. The bulk of that buyer journey of them going from awareness, interest, desire, all the rest of it, they're not concerned with you and what you're doing and what you want to talk about and how great you are. They're concerned with themselves. What is the problem that they've got? What are you going to do for me? How are you going to solve it? How much is it going to cost me? How long is it going to take? All this sort of stuff. And that's the bit that people don't talk about. Businesses don't talk about it on their website. People don't talk about it when they go networking. They don't talk about it on their social media. They just talk about themselves. And that's why it doesn't work. And that's why businesses really struggle with this idea of how do I pitch my myself, what do I actually do? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we have got 5 questions that you can ask yourself in order to get to this answer of how do you pitch your business. So have you seen this, Hannah? You do a lot of networking. You must have seen this where people just ramble on about irrelevant stuff, pretty much like I've just done for 5 minutes.
Absolutely. And me and Aaron, in fact, my good friend Aaron and business partner Aaron, he and I went on a startup, incubator kind of fast track thing. And a huge section of that was pitching. And pitching is like an art form in itself. It's got, it's underpinned by psychology if you do it properly. So that it's not just standing up there and telling somebody what you do, it's hooking into that the recipient's kind of desires, fears, and needs, and providing a solution to that in a really quick way that isn't bullshit, isn't kind of nonsense. Like, you sit with people sometimes and they'll say so much noise without actually saying anything. And a good pitch is about distilling down to its very pure elements what it is that you can do for somebody, not what it is that you do, what you can do for that person, and kind of providing them a succinct answer to that. So like, there'll be so many kind of guides and stuff on how to pitch, but it really is important that you sit and think about it and you don't just start talking.
Absolutely. I mean, like I said, I used the example of the lady that came to the course yesterday, and what she did was provide training for apprenticeships. What we thought she did was provide apprentices to fill apprenticeship vacancies, and she doesn't do that. She provides training once you've got an apprentice. If they've got a skills gap, that's what she does. And so there's a few sort of elements here, because first of all, like you said, you've got to be really clear about what it is that you do and who you need to speak to. But the other thing is that you're working with people's preconceptions about what you do, and people will hear, at networking, you get 60 seconds if you're lucky to introduce yourself and say what you do. People already have a preconception. They hear accountancy, they assume you're an accountant. They hear apprenticeships, they assume you find them. They hear training, they assume that you do something to do with colleges or universities or whatever. And so you've not only got a very short space of time to get across what you do, but you've got to but you've also got to sort of combat those short assumptions that people will make. For example, again, I went networking for 4 years in a networking group, and somebody then came up to me and said, I'm looking for a copywriter. Do you know any copywriters? I was like, we do copywriting. It's like one of the fundamental things that we do. Now, your initial thing is, why the frig haven't you been listening to me? Like, I've been talking about this for 4 years. But obviously I hadn't. Either she hadn't been there very long, or she hadn't picked up on that, or I hadn't talked about that recently, or whatever. That's a fault on me. If the people in the room don't know what you do, that's not their fault for not listening. That is your fault for not explaining it properly. So it's really important that you get this right and understand what you do and how do you tell people that.
It's also really important, and I'm sure we'll touch on this, so I'll talk about it then. I'm just looking to see what our notes are, is that you are very clear about what you want from this pitch. So, people fundamentally want to help. And there's different types of pitches. There's pitches where you're asking for help. There's pitches where you're asking for introductions. There's ones where you're asking for money. And it's really important that you are clear on what that person can do. What you want them to do afterwards. Sign up here, introduce me to this person, buy this, magic bean or whatever it is you want. It's super important that you are clear in your head as well as how you say it.
You're absolutely right. We will come on to sort of how you are specific, but again, it's that old thing, isn't it? You hear this at networking all the time. They say, don't just say anyone, because we can work with any business. Of course we can. But if you say to somebody, we can work with any business, they'll go, all right, okay, yeah. Whereas if you say to somebody, I'm looking for accountancy firms that are still in the first 2 years of trading and they want to scale up, that you then, as the person listening to that, you can go, oh, I do know one of those. Brilliant. I can introduce you to that. So, it doesn't, sometimes you think, like, why would I narrow it down when I could speak to anyone? But you're helping the people in the room to make the connections as to who they do know and think about who they could introduce you to. But yeah, we will come on to that. Okay, so as I said, we've got 5 questions that you need to go through in order to reach this point of how do you pitch your business. And question number 1, what do you do? It sounds like the most basic question, doesn't it? But, you know, why does this matter, Hannah? And how do you answer it as a business?
Well, I always like, most people know there's a difference between features and benefits. So features is like what you actually do, and benefits is why the hell should they care? So when you think about like, what do? Grow traffic. We're digital marketers. Who cares? What, like, that's a feature. What is the actual benefit of that? Well, we help people grow their business so that they win more clients and they get more revenue. That's what we do. So like when you're thinking about what it is that you do, go to the final, like the nth degree of it, like what, and so what, and keep asking yourself, so what? So I'm an accountant, so what? Well, I help people manage the books, so what? Well, I help make sure that they're paying the right tax, so what? And just kind of keep asking yourself, why should anybody care about this? What is the actual benefit to the person that is standing in front of me, like, that I can bring to them?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And accountancy is one of the things we were working with a woman on the roadshow yesterday, and she was saying, she was like, well, like, I just do people's accounts. Every business needs it. And it's like, yes, but actually, when we distilled down what it is that she did and the types of clients that she wanted to work with, the services that she provides and the way that she works and stuff, she wants to work with people that want their accountant to come and meet with them monthly and sit down and have a cup of coffee. She wants to work with businesses that want their accountant to come and maybe do a day in the office once a month so they can talk to them and sit with them and go through things. It's a very face-to-face service that she wants to provide. And so that will only apply to certain types of businesses. We even sort of narrowed it down to, she's got a young baby. Quite often she has to take a baby with us. So probably it's going to be the types of companies that are open to that. It might be women-led companies or with female entrepreneurs or whatever. It's being that specific. Like you say, it's what is the so what is a great question. Keep asking that. And so it's not just what do you do, it's how is that going to benefit that end person. And the benefit in that case I'm just talking about is that they get their accountant in the office. Their books and their accountancy is reflective of what is actually happening in the business on a week by week or a month by month basis. Doesn't work for every business, but some of them, that's exactly what they need. And you have to tell them that that's what you do. That's what I offer that's different to everybody else.
Because the pitch isn't your full, like, the pitch is the starting point. So you need to get them interested enough so that they go, oh, and how'd you do that? So if you're just kind of listing off a line of and I'm really bad at doing this, I will just sit there and go, oh, we do websites, we do social media, we do copywriting, we do SEO, but I never actually say, like, this is how it helps you, it grows your business. You want to kind of pique their interest enough so that they'll go, how is it that you managed to do that? How are you going to grow a business online? And how are you going to get me more customers and win me more revenue, or give me peace of mind and make sure that I'm earning every penny that I can in the business if you're an accountant. So yeah, it's really, really important. Like, the first thing you need to do is scrap the features and start getting down into the benefits of what you do.
Yeah. How do you help your clients? What are you going to do for them? And I mean, this is one of the things I do at networking as well, is I'm really specific, and case studies is a great way of doing this, particularly if you're in a business like ours where it is a little bit unclear, exactly what you do. You say, yeah, well, even if you say we help you grow your business online, like you say, well, what does that mean? What are you going to do? So I always anonymize our case studies, so I'm never specific about who the client is, but I say, we've just started working with a financial services client. They're having 2 blogs a month off us. They're having an hour of on-site SEO, an hour of off-site SEO, and a new backlink built for them. They're paying £830 a month, and we've just got them 3 new inquiries in the second month of working with them. Traffic's gone up by 60%. Rankings are now coming in on page 1 for some really big money keywords. So they know what we've done for that client. They know roughly what kind of budget they're going to need if that's the type of thing they want to replicate, and they're seeing what the results are in the time frame of that. So again, they can connect that to something real. It's tangible then, isn't it? It's an act. They go, I understand that now, rather than just going, yeah, well, we do SEO, we'll get you up the rankings. So
yeah, I mean, our talks wouldn't even have gone into that much detail. I think I'd have just said, like, the last bit, like, we've got this client, this. Like, when I do that, I say, oh, we've got this client, they've got 200% more traffic on the website, or this client's cost per acquisition has gone down by 3% or whatever. Like, but yeah, it's important that you kind of give in like really solid example of how you've benefited somebody through your benefits, not your features.
Yes,
Benefits,
exactly
not
that.
features.
Yeah. So what do you do? Question number one, what do you do? And by that we mean how are you benefiting your customers? Okay, number two, who is your target audience? So we have talked about this a little bit, but you know, who do you need to speak to? Who are your ideal customers, and where are they, more importantly? Why is it important that you pin down your target audience, Hannah?
Because you can't sell to everyone. So, you know, even if you do it on a rotator and you think, right, this quarter, I'm going to really focus on getting customers that look like A, B, and C. But because you really need to be specific, because every customer, every target audience group is going to have a different pain point. And I know that's number three, so I'm not going to jump ahead, but you really need to be able to say to yourself, why, like for writing your pitch, this is who I want to target. This is who I want to go after. You might not even say it in your pitch, I'm looking to speak to. But because that's kind of, again, too broad, you would go down to, like Rachel said, I'm looking to speak to people who, you know, accountants that have opened up in the last 2 years and are having the problem with X, Y, and Z. But yeah, you can't, we always come back to this. You've got to think about who your target audience is and pitch to a couple, one or two really, really specific pockets of people.
And some businesses, like I say, they come back with that. Well, it really is anybody, and it never really is anybody. You know, even if you're not narrowing your target audience down by sector or gender or age or whatever, even if you know it could be any of those. You might be narrowing it down by location. You might say, well, actually, I need to see my customers in person and I'm not traveling more than 20 miles to do it. So you've geographically narrowed down your target audience. It might be, like you say, that you look at it rather than sector specific, you look at it at the size of the business or the stage that the business is in. Again, we're working with another accountants at the moment, and they've identified 3 groups. So they want to work with startup companies, they want to work with scale-up companies, and they want to work with companies that are starting to think about their exit strategy. So those are 3 very specific stages in the life cycle of a business that they want to talk to. And how we're going to do that is we're going to create a page on the website for each one of those target audiences, and the content on there is going to be very specifically tailored to that person, so that we can then drive traffic to those things, and that's coupled with a PPC campaign and social media. So each of those pages will have different keywords for the PPC campaign. Each of those pages will be potentially shared on a different platform with a different social media platform, with a different message, so that we're speaking directly to those people in that situation and then driving them to a page on the website that is relevant to that. And then we can create blog posts around that. And so again, if that's what you said, you know, you might have all of those 3. So you might say, if you're out networking, right, month 1, I'm going to talk about the startups. Month 2, I'm going to talk about the scale ups, and month 3, I'm going to talk about the exit strategy businesses. And so you are being specific, because otherwise you're going to get nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay. So question number 1, what do you do? Question number 2, who is your target audience? Be as specific as you possibly can. Question number 3, what are the issues of your target audience? So this is not pain points. We're going to come on to pain points in a minute, but what are the issues of your target audience? And what we mean by that is not the specific pain points that they're facing, but what are they facing in their business landscape at the moment? So if you, for example, identified retail businesses as being one of your target audiences, what are they going through at the moment? Retail businesses are facing rising cost in business rates, rising cost of energy rates, you know, that falling footfall in the high street because everybody's skint and nobody's going out spending money. So once you've identified that target audience, you've got to start thinking, putting yourselves in the shoes of that target audience and saying, all right, what are they going through at the moment? Go on, Hannah. Why does this matter?
Well, it's not just the issues, is it? Like, if we're thinking about the environment in which a business or a target audience is operating, like, it's always useful as well to do a SWOT analysis on it. So not just what are the issues, what are the opportunities.
Oh, you love a SWOT analysis,
I bloody love a SWOT analysis. And if we can make it into a matrix, I'm even happier. Yeah, it's really important that you look at kind of where there are opportunities, because, you know, you want to be saying to people, I understand that this is a problem for you, but there's this opportunity here, and I can help you hook onto that, or I can help you counteract that with this. Like, you've got this strength in your industry, and this is where I can fit into that. Like, ultimately, you're trying to get these people to part with the money. So if all you talk about is doom and gloom, the problems, then you're going to kind of put that barrier in yourself. I think doing a strong SWOT analysis on the ecosystem that your target audience is operating in is really important, because people buy from buyers. Like, it's an absolute fucking tripe saying, isn't it? But people buy from people. And if you can like make that connection and show somebody that you understand the problems that they're facing, then you're much, much more likely to convince them that you can provide a solution to that problem. Right? How are you going to provide a solution if you don't understand the problems that they're facing? So it's super important, which is why it's important that you don't go too broad on your target audience, because that's a lot of work to do really broad. And every business is experiencing, every sector, or every target audience is experiencing a different environment that they're operating in at the moment.
And I think that understanding is key, isn't it? Because this is one of the things that we found when we're pitching to businesses, or we're doing tenders or whatever. Businesses, we always say SEO doesn't matter. We do the same things. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. We do the same things.
You always say SEO doesn't matter.
Well, you know what I mean. SEO it doesn't matter to each sector. We do the same things regardless of what sector you're in. But actually, as a business owner, and you don't necessarily want to do that. And funnily enough, we've seen this from the other side, haven't we? Because we were looking for a new accountant, and we've gone with a new accountant that understands digital agencies, because we're a digital agency and they understand the very specific, issues and things that we go through. Every business is the same. So what they want to see is, like you've just said, do you understand the specific things that I'm facing as a business, and can you deal with them, and can you demonstrate that you can deal with them? So if you can go in and say, well, yes, I have worked with this person before and it was a very similar situation and this is what we did, or I understand this issue and this is how I've overcome it in the past, that's what is going to hook you into that business. They're going to go, they do get it. And like you said, you've got solutions, you can demonstrate that you understand it. A lot of businesses or people pitching at networking and stuff won't even start to do that. They just say, oh yeah, I just want to talk to people. That's it. So it's really crucial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you do? Question number one, what do you do? What do you actually do? What are the benefits of the things that you do? Question number two, who is your target audience? Very specifically, who do you need to talk to and why? Number three, what are their issues? What is the landscape in which they are doing business? And how are you specifically going to help them overcome those issues? And that again, actually, it just taps in a little bit to your USP, doesn't it? It's, if you can demonstrate why you specifically are going to help them overcome their issues, that sets you apart from your competition and shows you understand them. Okay, number four, what pain points are you going to solve? So what do we mean by a pain point?
Right. So this I think is the most important part. This is like the one. If you don't do anything else, pay attention to this one. So you need to be asking your customers or your potential customers what's going on in their world at the moment. So especially if you've got a product or service that you're bringing to them to solve a problem, you can't be saying, I think that everybody has this problem, because you don't know. And you also can't go to people and say, would this solve your problem? Because they'll go, yeah. But like, would they actually use it? It's called the mum effect. Like, would they actually use it, or are they just being nice to you? So because you're standing in front of them, bearing your soul. So like, what you need to do to get to this point is go to people and say, how do you currently work? What's good about that? What's bad about that? What are you kind of like, what solutions have you put into place, and what do you like about those solutions, and what don't you like about those solutions, and really get a good idea of what's actually going on without making assumptions. So as an example, there was a really famous study done in the States, and McDonald's wanted to sell more from their breakfast menu, and all they were selling loads of milkshakes in the mornings. and they were wondering why we're selling milkshakes in the mornings. And so they did studies where, like, they brought out, bagels and stuff. Nobody bought them. They brought out, porridge. Nobody bought it. Like, it's a healthier alternative. Why aren't people actually buying these, these breakfast items? But they're all buying milkshakes. And they found out that people were buying milkshakes mostly through the drive-through because they were on their way to somewhere. They wanted something that was easy to hold whilst they were driving. So, like, a milkshake's much easier to hold than a fucking croissant. Mm-hmm. That doesn't, get them covered in get the work clothes dirty, but sits in their stomach, fills the stomach, makes them feel full, and gets them to wherever it is they're going. So they wanted convenience, like, cleanliness, kind of ease, and a nice, comfortable, full feeling in the tummy. And that's what these researchers discovered. So without having done that research, nobody could have predicted really that's what like the sales were coming from the drive-through, and that's what people wanted. So you really, you can't make these assumptions, and you can't say to people, would you like a croissant in the morning? Because they'll go, yeah, I'd like a croissant in the morning, yeah. Mm-hmm. But they're still going to go and buy a milkshake. So you've got to do your research and ask as many people as possible, kind of 10, 15 people. What are your pain points here?
That question about, asking the right questions is really important, isn't it? Because there's, how many of us have bought things thinking that is a really good idea. I should use that, but then you don't because it doesn't fit in with your day or your routine or whatever. And it's really hard to make it part of it. And so it doesn't become part of your routine, and therefore you don't use it. And it just becomes a pink elephant that sits there in the corner. So it's really important not just to ask the questions, but to ask the right questions, to again put yourselves in the shoes of your customers and figure out how do they work, what do they need from you, and then make your products and services fit that, not the other way around, because otherwise people will just won't use it, won't become part of it. I think one of the best examples, and I've said it a million times, but that I can always bring to mind of this difference between how are you solving the pain points and how businesses think, is we had a customer IT company, and they had this all singing, all dancing video made and about the pain points that they solve for their customers. And so we watched this video and we were like, okay, what they were talking about on that video was that their customers have a hodgepodge of old machinery. They have some desktop computers that people can't take home. They have documents stored in all sorts of different places. And actually, those are pain points for the business, for the IT company. Yeah. They weren't pain points for the customers, because the customers, if the documents stored in all sorts of places isn't causing any issues, then it's not a pain point. What would be a pain point is that their staff are not able to work remotely because they've only got desktops on desks. Their staff are not able to find the document they need quickly because everything's stored in all sorts of different places, so it's slowing their job down. They're spending 3 hours waiting for their laptop to load because it's a hodgepodge of old machinery. So we're back to that. So what? Go a step further. It's really easy when you're in business to think, we could say to people all the time, like, oh, your website's crap. Well, if the website might be crap, but if it's not causing them an issue for the business, it doesn't matter. It's not a pain point for them. They don't care. So we've got to think, what is that actual pain point? And then you've got to marry that up to your customers, because not every customer will be experiencing every one of those pain points. Like I said, some customers will be absolutely fine with having a hodgepodge of old machinery because they've got, staff that have used those machines for 15 years in the office and they're quite happy with it. It's not causing an issue. So talk to those customers and say, what are the pain points that you're experiencing? What are the issues that you're having on a daily basis? And then see, how do I solve those? And this is it, when you're doing sort of sales and discovery calls as well, it's really important that those are the bits that you find out. So always let your customer or your potential customer talk first. Ask them, what's the problem as you see it from your point of view? Let them tell you that, and then talk to them about how your products or services specifically answer those issues, not the other way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Right. So question number 1, what do you do? Really, what do you do? And what are the benefits of it? Number 2, who is your target audience? Very, very specifically. You might have more than one. but who are they? Number 3, what are their issues? As in, what is the landscape in which they are operating? What are the things that they are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, and the sector-specific things that they're dealing with? Number 4, what pain points are they experiencing, and how are you going to solve those pain points? And then number 5, how are you going to create content that starts to answer all these? So what types of content might people need to create?
So obviously an elevator pitch. So content doesn't always have to be physical. So I would always get yourself a good elevator pitch, even if you never intend to be in a lift with the CEO of bloody Microsoft or whatever. Like you still want to be able to tell someone really succinctly what you do. I would always as well think about getting not a mission statement, mission statement together. So, you kind of flesh out that elevator pitch and it's written down. So when you're having collateral created, sorry, it's just gone really bright in here. When Jesus is coming for me again.
Yes.
When you're having collateral created for you by a marketing department or a marketing agency, you can give them that mission statement and say, this is what we're about. This is how we help people. And then you want to have a page on your website that fleshes that out even further and really kind of talks about, all those things we've just said, what your benefits and who you help and how you help them and who needs you and stuff. And that's where I would start.
I think that vision and mission is a really good point. And then I was just been working again with another client just last week actually on this vision and mission statement. They'd come up with these statements. We help businesses become more energy efficient. We help businesses find the most cost-effective solutions for their problems. And again, it's like, well, what does that mean? Why is that going to help the customers? You've got to keep going that step further again and explaining. If you say we help our customers become more energy efficient, what does that mean for them? That helps them meet their environmental responsibilities or corporate social responsibilities. It helps them save money. It helps them feel better. It helps them be demonstrable to their clients in turn about the ways that they're being environmentally responsible. How are you going to do that? So again, if you've got those purpose, vision, mission statements on your website, explain why and what it means. Yes, you can have the short sentence that pops out, have the big statements at the top, but explain them, otherwise they're meaningless. And again, this should go through all of the content that you're creating. So everything that you're saying, everything that's on your website. And again, just to hammer it home, if you have a product or a service page on your website, make sure it talks about the benefits, not just the features, the benefits. We do this, and so that means you can, and so it means you are. What does it mean? It should be on your blogs, and it should be on your social media as well. This is another thing that people forget. And when they talk about the social media, it's really easy to just talk about yourself, isn't it? I went here, I went to this networking event, I've been to this conference, I've done this. Oh, did you know we sell this? And they're like, why is nobody buying it? It's because, well, you've not spoken to anybody. When people are on social media, they're even a step up from that awareness, interest, desire, decision-making funnel. They're not even aware that they've got a problem or looking for a solution to the problem on social media. They're just browsing to waste a bit of time or look at the cousin's baby or whatever. You've got to interrupt that thought process at that point to say, this is what we can do. So, oh, hello, I know you're busy looking at photographs of dogs, but actually, are you considering this at the moment? Well, did you know we can help you because of X, Y, Z? So think about, again, put yourself in the shoes of that customer. Yes, your social media should be there to share about you as a person, you as a company. So yes, talk about that stuff. But if you want to use it as a sales tool or a marketing tool, you've got to go that step further.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, right. That's it. We've run out of time. Liz has just joined us, but we've just finished. So hi, Liz.
You can watch it all back on the YouTube channel.
You can watch it all back. Yes. So it will be on the YouTube channel shortly. It will be on the podcast shortly. It'll be on Catch Up on Facebook shortly. Also, we do, if you're on LinkedIn, if you follow Grow Traffic on LinkedIn, we always do a roundup of these. So there's always either top 5 tips or top 5 questions. And they're always put on as a slide deck. So that'll be on our LinkedIn channel. So there we go. Hannah, final point, final takeaway.
Just be really, really clear about the benefits of what you do. Don't start listing your features.
Yeah, and mine would be the so what, same point as Hannah's really, but
Yeah.
once you've said this is what we do, ask yourself so what, answer that, ask yourself so what again, see how many times you can do it until you have put yourselves in the shoes of that customer and you understand what they're getting out of it, because that's the only way you'll ever be able to pitch your business to them. Okay, that's it. If you want more content from Grow Traffic, we've got oodles of it. It's all again on the YouTube channel, on the website. There's all sorts of stuff about this. And like Hannah said, there's loads of training online about how to do any of this better, how to write your elevator pitch, all the rest of it. There are also people that both of us know that do this type of training. So if you'd like to know more, you can email info@growtraffic.co.uk or leave a comment below and we will answer your questions. That's it. Right, Hannah, you look like you need to go to bed. So go and have the afternoon off and let's hope the sun shines. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.